All right, everybody. Good morning. Greetings, everyone. I'm Tim Anderson, aka Renfell, and welcome to the latest episode of Monday Musings, where I talk about life, books, games, all the things I'm doing in my life. Got the new map back here, which is the big part of what's consuming my life right now. What we'll talk about at the end of the show is all the Weave and Void stuff. But in the meantime, I want to say thanks to all the new followers. I got a whole bunch of new people. We've exploded by like 100 new followers in the last month, mostly around EverQuest 2, which has been a lot of fun. I'm glad those people are around. We've got a few of those who have um, paid attention to what we've got going on in other places and got some new subscribers over on Patreon, so that's always good. So thanks so much to everybody following along, subscribing here, there, everywhere. This has been a really phenomenal week for us, for Chris and I and my brother, and just there's been a lot going on. So I don't have a show list today, so I'm just going to kind of go through things and hope I remember everything as I go through. But first and foremost, I wanted to thank everybody. If you are new and you haven't already done so, make sure to subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon so you get updates for all the different things I do here. And it's a lot varied. I do lots of different things. This is mostly a gaming related channel, but there's also, book reviews and show reviews and other stuff. So dig around, etc. And if you're returning, thanks so much. I appreciate your support. Welcome aboard. Um, let's see here. Past week, Chris and I started watching the final season of Lost in Space on Netflix, which is a very good, kind of reboot of the classic show. Briefly talked about it, last week, I think, but we're halfway through it now. We're taking that one kind of slow. We're not binging it. We watched a couple episodes one time, a couple episodes another time, and I think we got. Do we have 4 episodes left or 2 episodes left? I don't remember. It's been a few days since we've watched anything, so we've been busy with other stuff. Um, so that's going good. Wheel of Time. Just watched episode 6 the other day. I put my review up on Sunday here on YouTube. Um, there's stuff going on in that show. It's really making me want to reread the books, but I'm not going to because A, I don't have time, and B, what little time I have to read, I'm dedicating to other things, books I haven't read in 20 years and or books I haven't ever read before. I've already reread The Wheel of Time 3 times. I don't need to do so again anytime in the near future. That's, maybe 10 years from now when I'm 50 and I've gotten all these other books out of the way. Right now, I'm in the middle of. I just wrapped up, and I put the review up earlier in the week, early last week. I finished up Dark Force Rising, which is the second book in the Thrawn trilogy. I'm starting probably tomorrow. I thought I was going to start it today or yesterday or today. Wait, hang on. I'm pre-recording this on Sunday, so I'm either starting it Monday, which is the day that this airs, or the day after, which will be Tuesday. I thought I was going to start it on Saturday, and Chris and I got sidetracked with other stuff, and it just didn't happen. So it is what it is. But I'm going to be reading that, and then going straight from that into the Chronicles of Amber. I've noticed that Liam's got his first review up for Nine Princes in Amber, which is the first book in the Amber Chronicles. He used the word phenomenal a couple of times, which I love because this actually used to be a problem word for me in the sense that I used to use this word so much that my family used to make fun of me. This is in my late teens, early 20s. That was my favorite word, and I used it for everything. Phenomenal. Um, and it made me laugh because I saw it. Yeah, I think he used it 2 or 3 times in that video, and I was like, I love hearing that word about Nine Princes and Amber because the Amber Chronicles as a whole are a lot of fun. I feel like it's peak Roger Zelazny. Like he's done a lot of cool stuff. I really love Road Marks. Um, but he's done a lot of good stuff. He did a lot of kind of okay stuff too that was just kind of like meh. But you know, uh, Amber is way up there. So um, yeah, it's a show I would love to see adapted to television. I feel it could be easily done too because it's only 10 books and they're short, so you could easily do like 2 3 books in a season. So that's something I feel like they could do that and turn that into like 4 seasons, like 3 or 4 seasons. You could do the whole Chronicles of Amber fairly well in like 8 to 10 episodes per season. Oh yeah, I think that's an adaptation that I would love to see. I don't know if it'll ever come about, because as popular as Zelazny was in the 70s and 80s, he wasn't like a bestseller, so to speak. He did win some awards, and he was definitely a name, but he wasn't selling millions of copies of his books, at least not from what I'm aware. Anyway, I still have not got around to finishing up Arcane, despite the fact that I just was like oohing and awing over those first three episodes. So maybe at some point. And I still have the last two episodes of Foundation to watch. It's been the last couple of weeks have been really busy with just Weave and Void stuff and Chris getting back home and the EverQuest 2 thing. That has really, which is great. It's not a bad thing, but that has really consumed my last 2 weeks, and a lot of the things that I would like to be doing that don't necessarily need to be done, they're just hobby things, have kind of fallen to the wayside as a result of that, which is fine. So let's talk about that a little bit. So EverQuest 2 blew up um, over Thanksgiving. Now we're already seeing, because it's been 2 weeks basically. 1, 2, a little over 2 weeks. We'll be into the third week this week, and we're already seeing that drop off, which I knew was coming. It happens every time there's a progression server or anything else. You get a huge rush, and I think at this point we have 63 people in the guild as of this morning when I checked. Um, this morning being Sunday, this is airing on Monday. Um, so we've got over 60 people in the guild, but I'm already seeing that, half of those people haven't logged in like the last week. And that's pretty standard for a progression server like this, which is why I told everybody I'm not making any solid plans. The EverQuest 2 uh, section in Discord has a pinned post that says tentatively, when we get to January and we get past the holidays, we'll take a look. And if we have enough people, we will then pursue doing the Rise of Kunark expansion in its entirety, along with all the mythical content, which is a good 2 to 3 month adventure for people. But it is predicated on there being at least a dozen, 12 to 15 people who are actively logging in 2, 3 times a week to do the group content and the raids and everything else. So we're gonna wait and see, because I know some people were already starting to make some comments in Discord and oh, it's where's everybody at? The Discord used to be just slam packed with like 50 comments an hour, and now it's only a few per day, and it's just because that's how these things work. Like I've done 7 years or 8 years now in a row of progression servers, whether it's EverQuest 1, EverQuest 2. We did Vanguard 1 year. Anytime we do any sort of progression guild like this, we usually get 3 to 4 months max, um, and we usually lose about half the people within the first 6 weeks. This being the holidays and everything else, we're already starting to see that trickle off. So we'll see if everybody's out past the holidays. I'm still having a lot of fun. I'm planning on doing this for the foreseeable future because I'm getting good traffic on my YouTube channel from EverQuest 1 and EverQuest 2 videos. So I had already, that's the whole reason this EverQuest 2 guild got started, was because I wanted to do this. And other people were like, hey, that sounds fun. I want to join. So I'll be continuing regardless of how many people there are, because I've got a list of content that I can make for EverQuest 1 and EverQuest 2, excuse me. And those videos do not they don't require me to be doing raid content to create those videos. Also, the raid content these days is not that type of raid content is not raids. It's like I said, a couple dozen, a dozen people with mercenaries can go in and do all of that content, and it's persistent raid zones. So you just go in for a couple hours each night, and you go in for 2, 3 times a week, and you can get it done. So it's not like it used to be. It's very casual, laid back. Putting in 10 hours a week in EverQuest 2 is hardcore these days, honestly. Because if I'm playing 2 hours a session and I'm playing 5 nights a week, that's 10 hours. And I ain't playing 5 nights a week. I probably am putting 10 hours a week in, but it's not at nights. I play um, Thursday nights and Friday nights for sure. Saturday nights when I don't have Minecraft with my little nephew. And then I'm playing in the mornings with coffee, which is usually only like 45 minutes to an hour in the morning. So maybe 10 hours a week, and that's hardcore for me. and we've got a lot done. It's been a lot of fun. We've recorded quite a bit of footage. I've got videos going up on YouTube now that I didn't plan on doing, but it's because I've been invited to go do some heritage quests and everything else. And I was like, hey, it would be cool to just record this. So like I did one for Foombies the other day. We did by hook or by crook. We did last night. We did Maiden's Gulch in one video, and then the second video was going all the way down through Lava Storm to get Speak as a Dragon from Nagafin. And those are all extra videos, so that's cool. Uh, Kingdom Come Deliverance, which I had never played or heard a lot of good things about. It was on sale for $10 on the PS4, so I picked it up the other day, and I did play a early morning session the other day, recorded it, got some footage. I'll be doing a video about that at some point, sort of my first impressions. I'm going to be playing that casually on the PS4 for the foreseeable future. Um, I like the idea of the medieval sim. There are some things I don't like about it, like the horse controls are horrific, but I say that coming from Red Dead Redemption 2, which is like the best horse controls of any game I've ever played. Um, but even Witcher 3 is better than the horse controls in Kingdom Come Deliverance. So we'll see. But I love the sim aspects of it and the kind of the food. You need food and water and clothing and reputation and if you're bloody, people get freaked out when they're talking to you, and if your clothing looks like crap, they suspect you. So I mean, there's all these elements to that game which are really cool. So I'm kind of enjoying what I've seen so far. So expect to see a video about that coming up at some point in the near future. Um, yeah. Once I finish up the Foundation series, I'll do a review of the Foundation series. Um, I think moving forward, I'm kind of liking doing this weekly review of Wheel of Time for my community of YouTube people. So I think I might do those for like The Witcher coming up, and maybe any shows that I watch. I don't know. It's just more content for me to produce. It takes more time, but I don't mind doing that when it's only a 10 or 15-minute thing, and it gives me more stuff to put out on YouTube. Um, Oh yeah, we unlocked community posts last week, which is really cool. It took YouTube about 10 days, I think, to unlock it for me because I actually hit 500 followers several weeks ago. Um, but it took, yeah, because it was right around the time we started the EQ2 Guild, like Thanksgiving, because I had 497 followers right the day before Thanksgiving, and then I did that stream for EverQuest 2 on that day before Thanksgiving, and then we had the guild up by Thanksgiving Day. And as soon as that happened, I started getting tons of new followers. So I mean, I've had 500 followers, over 500 followers since Thanksgiving Day, but it did take them like about 10 days or so, maybe a little bit more. But I got it unlocked last week, so thanks to everybody for following along because that was really cool to get that. And now we're on our way to 1,000. 1,000 is the next um, kind of hub that we're shooting for here on my personal YouTube channel, which is cool. Um, we unlock monetization at 1,000, which doesn't mean a lot because you don't make a ton of money off of your videos when you only got 1,000 subscribers. Um, the big factor in that though is that YouTube starts to promote your videos more in the algorithm because they have ads on them and YouTube makes money off of ads. So once you hit that, they do start promoting your videos more regularly, which would be a really cool thing. So I'm just going to keep doing what I've been doing. Chris and I looked at it. It's like at the beginning of 2021, I had like 87 followers. And this YouTube channel had never been more than a place for me to put my retro games. And I've only had the channel for 3 years, and the first 2 years was just me putting stuff on here, like once a month sometimes. It was just a fun little hobby. And then I started getting into it seriously when we started putting all the Project Drammon stuff here, starting in March of 2021, because we were doing 3 times a week updates. And then I started putting my Is It Worth It game series up here. We got into the Lotro Cooking in Real Life series. So all that stuff, playing Icewind Dale 1 and 2, Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, all that stuff, it all started to come together. And, YouTube is growing, which is fun. Um, so yeah, that'll be the next thing is getting to 1,000. So I appreciate all the shares, likes, comments, etc. Anything you guys can do to help us get there quicker because it's going to be a cool milestone to hit. Um, don't know when it'll happen, but it'll be fun when it does. Speaking of cool updates, we got affiliate status with the Weave in the Void Twitch channel really quickly. So thanks to everybody for following along there. That was really cool. I think we did it in right around 2 weeks. We did our first So this episode that's airing, well, for those of you watching this, it's the episode that aired last night. But the episode on December 12th is the third episode we've done for our D&D show. So we started on the 28th. Make sure that I'm looking at that right. Yeah, we started November 28th was the first episode. December 5th was the second episode, and we unlocked affiliate status on, was it Thursday night or Friday night? Maybe it was Friday night, like the 10th, I think. Um, Something like that. Um, so it was, in under 3 weeks, so a little over 2 weeks, but under 3 weeks. We got the affiliate status unlocked for the Weave in the Void Twitch channel, which is awesome. So for those of you who are tuning in to watch our D&D streams every Sunday night, stay tuned for that. We got a fourth episode coming up soon for those of you watching this. And of course, the episode that aired last night. And for those of you who are so inclined and you want to throw a Prime subscription over there, or whatever the case may be, we'd love your support over on that channel. Feel free. Um, there's lots of stuff coming down the pipeline now for the Weave in the Void because we're basically in full swing now. I just put up a post the other day. Got all the miniatures here last Wednesday and the map, obviously. Um, and I'm starting this week coming up. I'm already doing the Incarnate map streams once a week. Starting this week, I will be including miniature painting streams because we're starting to hand paint miniatures and get those prepped for the Etsy store that's coming for the Weave in the Void. Excuse me, in early 2022. We're probably going to have a separate tier that we do on Patreon as well, which is like a standalone tier. Maybe. We haven't decided if we're going to do a tier yet or if we're just going to keep it all on the Etsy store. But Chris is going to, at some point, she said she wants to make a handmade cloak or two for cosplayers because she likes to sew and do embroidery and stuff. So I think she's going to do some of that for fun. We've already talked about years ago, we talked about doing leather dice bags. So I think we're going to go ahead and do that for sure. Um, Cloth maps, other stuff. But we got more work to do on the tabletop and the module and everything else, so that's just rolling right along. Um, Adventure game updates just went live the other day. We're up to episode 39 in the point and click adventure game. That's moving ahead nicely. Um, we, yeah, it's just all things are coming together very, very nicely. So it's been pretty cool. So thanks everybody for following along and doing that. So we've had lots of cool little dings and updates this week. All right, what's coming next? It's a good question. We've invited. Excuse me. Oh, I know one of the things. So I previously said wasn't sure. I don't know if I confirmed this last week. Wasn't sure if I was going to do in chapters 11 and 12 for the month of December. Definitely not doing those. Chris just wrapped up artwork for chapter 8 the other day. She's going to try to get chapter 9 wrapped up by Thursday because I did kind of I am pressuring her a little bit. I was like, look, she the first time she's had this, she had some artist's block with chapter 9, sorry, chapter 8. And just couldn't get the fire the way she wanted it to look for the boat, and she ended up doing like 7 or 8 different iterations, and it took her like a week longer than it normally takes her to do things. And I told her for the next one, and I was like, just get it done by Thursday. Just it doesn't have to be perfect because you can reiterate on it later, but we just need to get this out. So she's gonna try to get chapter 9 artwork by Thursday, and then chapter 10 artwork done by the following Thursday, which is the 23rd, and then it's Christmas, and then it's holidays. And I'm right now, as of this week coming up, I've already got the outline kind of roughly mapped out in my head. Since I'm not doing chapters 11, 12, I am doing a holiday story for Patreon page, and it's going to be using the main characters that we've been introduced to so far. Um, and I think it's going to be it's the adventure that brought them to Parthana for the first time 5 years ago. When they were ending their adventures, when they were ending their time as an adventuring party, and they were deciding to go their separate ways and work on other things. I think we're gonna. That's the timeline I'm looking at, and I'm going to be creating a seasonal festival for the world of Weave and Avoid. Which, by the way, I still haven't come up with a name for the planet or the continent or any of that stuff yet. So I mean, there's still a lot of stuff that I can do creatively as we're continuing. Like none of this has a name. It doesn't. Like we literally just have names of areas. Like you can see here. Oops, that's the we got the northern spine. We got the triplets. Um, there's stuff. The dark woods over here. The ice woods up here. The ice wall. But we don't have I haven't come up with a name for the continent or a name for the world yet or the planet or anything like that. So one of the things I'm just going to be doing with this is I'm going to be creating a seasonal festival that's sort of like, a Christmas festival for them, a winter festival. And that's something that I've never done before. So I think it sounds fun. And we've been playing EverQuest 2 and EverQuest 1, and they've got Frostfell, and all these games do their little seasonal festivals. And I was like, I should totally create something for this. Then that's something that I can then throw in the source book because it's additional lore which just gets created as a result of the short story. So that's what it is right now is we're looking at the end of the last big adventure that these folks had together, this group of characters, and they're going to Parthona to um, for something or another. And they're going to be going during the festival time, and there's going to be a short little adventure that takes place, and I'm going to write that short story for publication probably after thanks or after Christmas. I'll probably plan this for the maybe the Thursday of the 30th, so it would happen between the Christmas holiday and the New Year holiday. Um, More than likely, that's the schedule I'm looking at. Um, I haven't decided whether or not, because we're not going anywhere for Christmas, and we don't have family down here, so we're not going to visit Chris's family. We're not going to visit my family because we can't go visit. We could, but it's just a pain in the butt with all the COVID restrictions flying and thing. We did that 2 years ago, if you remember. We went up for a month in December. Then last year we didn't do anything because of pandemic, and this year we're just kind of like, eh. Chris just spent 6 weeks with her family in, all of October into November, so there's no reason to go visit them right away, right again. And my family, hey, you saw me 2 years ago, and I talk to my brother, 3, 4 times a week. So, um, and it's actually quite funny because I don't, I TikTok with my brother and my sister-in-law on a regular basis. My sister, I talk to once a week or so. Sometimes it's more infrequent than that, but we do talk somewhat regularly through Facebook Messenger. I know my brother and her have Snapchat and they talk all the time, but they both have kids, so it's like, I've got nieces and nephews on both that side for my brother and my sister, and so they're regularly in contact for all this stuff. And I know my sister was just out there visiting them for Thanksgiving, so it is what it is. So for the holidays, I don't have a lot going on, so Chris and I'll probably just be hunkered down. I think we said we're just gonna we're gonna go eat out. I think is what we're gonna do. We're actually gonna go to some restaurants because we have not been out to eat. No joke here. Even though we're double vaccinated and everything else, we have not been out to a restaurant since 2019. Like that was the last time we went to a restaurant. We have used Uber Eats quite a bit. I have used it quite a bit. Chris doesn't like to eat out very often. But I will use Uber Eats. I used it a lot when she wasn't here for 6 weeks, even though I love to cook. I was like, hey, you know what? I'm going to enjoy these 6 weeks and just try a bunch of new places. But we have some of our favorite restaurants that we haven't been to in a couple of years. We'd love to go out and get some nice dinners. So I think we're going to go do some cuisine over the holidays. But other than that, we're just going to, I think, just relax and watch a bunch of shows and stuff. Maybe take a few days of no social media, no work, so to speak. And I do have off from the 23rd to the, let me double check here. My official vacation is from the 23rd to the 3rd. So I've got quite a bit where it's just going to be, whatever I want to work on. And I know I said I might try to work on my fantasy novel, but since I decided to do this short story instead for The Weave of the Void, I'm going to go ahead and do that instead. So that'll be fun because I haven't done a standalone short story in a while. Um, so I have no idea how long it's going to be. I just kind of have a rough idea in my head of the outline. And I'm just kind of gonna. I haven't planned it as much as I plan the outline for the novel, um, because it's a short story. So I just have a rough idea in my head of this is what needs to happen, and I'm just gonna write and see how long it is, and probably from there I will end up wheedling it down and doing some editing and so on and so forth. Anyway, we're 25 minutes in. I think that's all I wanted to talk about and say today. Um, Probably. I would love to hear from those of you who actually sit and watch through these. What are some other types of, things that you would like me to do on YouTube? is there content that you would like to see me do, or is there stuff I've done in the past that you would like to see me do more of? Because I am obviously planning on doing quite a bit of EverQuest 1 and 2 through it'll be the first, at least the first 2 months, like January, February of the new year. Probably January, February, March. But we'll see. I've got my sub for December, January, and February. So I'll at least be doing content for those 3 months. Um, I know I said I wanted to do a point and click series, and I got people to give me recommendations for games that I hadn't played or hadn't forgotten. So we've got some games on there like Game of the Night, Sins of the Fathers, you know, Space Quests, one of the Space Quest games, one of the Quest for Glory games, one of the King's Quest games, um, Full Throttle, which I actually have the remastered version of that came out a couple years ago. It was really well done. The Dig. Um, I can't remember. There have been some other recommendations made, but there's been half a dozen games. I would love to do more Lotro cooking in real life, but we've kind of already done all the episodes that we wanted to do. And I could just keep digging into the Lotro recipe book and finding things. Um, but I also, it needs to be stuff that Chris and I want to eat. Um, so we haven't done a lot of those episodes this year. We did a lot of them at the latter part of last year and the early part of this year, but we haven't hardly done any since, the early part of the year. Um, but I would love to know what are some, more book reviews, show reviews, movie reviews. Like, do you want a series on writing? Do you want me to do like more? Because the Mondays and MMOG thing, I haven't really done anything since I hit episode 50. I kind of said, you know what? I've done 50 episodes over like 3.5, 4 years. I've kind of said everything I want to say in terms of talking about game development, and also since I'm not actively working in development on an MMORPG anymore, I just don't feel like I have anything relevant to add to that conversation because now I'm working on tabletop and I'm working on a single player point and click and I'm writing a new novel. Um, so I don't know. I mean, if there's things that people would like to hear me talk about, I would be happy to do that content if it's something that people would consume. Otherwise, I'm just doing things that I enjoy doing in my spare time anyway. Um, like I'm still sort of just kind of waiting. Probably once the holidays get past, if I can get my hands on a Xbox Series X, that's the one I really would like to have more than anything else right now because all the PS5 exclusives that I want to play or care about playing aren't happening until the latter part of 2022. Whereas there are some Xbox games out that I would already like to play, and looking towards the future, some of the games I really am going to want to explore are probably going to be Xbox exclusives. I know for a fact that the next Elder Scrolls game is going to be an Xbox exclusive. I'm not sure about was it Starlink? Starlink is that's Elon Musk. Star something. Um, the Star game from Bethesda. That's more than likely going to be an Xbox exclusive. Um, Avowed from Obsidian more than likely will be an Xbox exclusive. So I would like to get an Xbox, but man, they have not been available. There was some available before Thanksgiving, and I held off and didn't buy it on Amazon because I was like, I'm gonna wait and see if there's Black Friday sales. There was no Black Friday sales on consoles, and I kind of feel like I missed my window because I could have gotten an Xbox Series X because they have literally not been available since they first went on sale. Nothing on Amazon Mexico until October or late October, early November of 2020. So for like 10 months, nothing. And then they were on sale for about 3 weeks, and then there hasn't been anything since then. And I'm like, did I lose my window? Am I gonna have to wait another 6 months before I get my hands on an Xbox Series X? We'll see. I asked some people at a store the other day, and they were like, hey, because in Mexico, not only is it Christmas, but there's also something called I might be butchering this if I'm not remembering correctly, the Reyes Mágicos or the Tres Reyes. Hey Chris, there's I'm gonna go look it up right now. There's a holiday here. Yeah, Reyes Magos. It's a tradition in Mexico for like the 5th and 6th of January where it's like a second Christmas. And for a lot of families, they don't do anything for Christmas here, but they absolutely do stuff for the 5th and 6th. And when I asked at the store the other day, one of the places where they actually do sell Xboxes and stuff, they were like, well, we expect to have a new shipment in on around the 20th of December because we want to get inventory stocked before Reyes Magos. So I'm fingers crossed there might be some inventory in late December, like right around Christmas time. But PlayStation 5, I'm not too worried about. The point I'm bringing up though is that I will be doing reviews of more console games in 2022, more of those Is It Worth It series. Um, because there's a lot of good games coming out that I want to talk about, and a lot of good games that I want to play and sink my teeth into. And I would love to play Halo Infinite, but I'm also kind of glad I'm waiting because it looks like there's been some bugs and some issues. But I just don't want to play it on PC. I don't. Like that to me is a console game. I want to play it on a console. I have fond memories of playing like 1, 2, 3, and 4 on consoles, and I don't want to play on PC. It just feels like it's not a PC game. That's a console game for me. Anyway, I'm 30 minutes in. That should be a wrap for today's Monday Musings episode. Thanks for following along, everybody. Thanks to all the new players who are here. Join our Discord. Links are below. Let me know what other stuff you want me to talk about, rant about, create here on YouTube. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon. You can also follow me on other social media. I've got a TikTok account, Instagram, which I don't do very much with, and I should. And I've got a Twitter where I'm the most active. I do have a Facebook page too. Facebook and Twitter are about the same. TikTok is intermittent. Instagram needs to become more of a thing. Um, but mostly I just do video reels and stuff these days. I like my TikTok account. I do. I really like TikTok. So I would love for people to follow me on TikTok because I do stuff there that I don't do on other social media, which is just random stuff. Chris and I around the house, out in the park, um, little snippets of us playing EQ2 together. It's more like insight into my daily stuff. So if you like that kind of stuff, feel free to follow along. Otherwise, I'll see everybody next week or in the next video that you choose to tune into. Thanks so much. Bye, everybody.